Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of breach of faith.
No
You don't
problem.
have to say anything, but may I defend you? Do not mention one question. Something which should later allow in court. Anything you do say may be given there.
Welcome to Noxium, where police power meets public accountability.
This episode is brought to us by News Now Yorkshire. Be sure to check the link below, subscribe to his channel, and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, News Now Yorkshire is outside Ossett Police Station flying a drone when an officer storms over and immediately escalates the situation. He grabs News Now, places him in handcuffs, ignores repeated attempts to explain the law, and throws him into the back of a van where the officer's ego quickly takes center stage. When intimidation fails to achieve the desired result, the officer escalates even further and proceeds with an arrest. News Now later takes the matter straight to Humberside.
I'll ask you again. Can I ask you what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm busy, mate.
Can I ask you what you're doing?
I'm piloting an aircraft, mate. You'll have to leave me alone because you're endangering the welfare of an aircraft.
You're filming within a police station. I can't have you doing that.
Why?
Because I can't.
Why not?
So bring it down, or else I'll just take the device off you. It's up to you.
Well, that's a bit serious, isn't it?
Bring it down now.
I'm bringing it down.
Bring it down now.
Look, I'm waiting for the cars to pass. It's not safe. Whoa, what was that for? What's that for?
At the moment, I'm detaining you.
Okay.
Potentially on terrorist offence.
Okay. Mind or arrest?
I've detained you at the moment.
Okay.
What reason are you filming a police station with a drone?
To make a video.
Of what?
The police.
Doing what?
Working.
Elaborate. What do you mean by working?
Just working. Just mulling about. Cars coming and going.
Do you understand that obviously we're on a high risk with the police and people targeting the police?
Not really.
So you don't watch the news? Police officers and police stations get attacked all the time.
When was the last time a
They
police
get
station was
targeted.
attacked? What, just name the last time a police station was attacked.
I'm asking you the questions. You're not asking me any
I
questions.
know, I'm asking you a question. Whether you answer, that's a different story.
I'm not going to answer.
Well, don't answer then.
News Now was actively flying the drone and fully engaged in controlling it, yet the officer repeatedly inserted himself into the situation despite being clearly told that his actions were putting the aircraft at risk. Threatening to snatch the controller while the drone was still in flight is not enforcement, it is reckless interference. Any officer exercising basic judgment would know that the priority is to allow the aircraft to land safely before taking any further action. Instead, the officer resorts to a familiar justification, claiming that police officers and police stations are attacked all the time. When News Now challenges him directly, asking when that last happened, the officer refuses to provide an answer because the facts simply do not support the claim. There has not been a significant attack on a UK police station in recent years, and certainly nothing that suggests a pattern serious enough to justify treating a clearly visible and compliant drone operator as an immediate threat.
Who are you?
Terrorism legislation doesn't give you the right to my name.
Who are you?
Terrorism legislation doesn't give you the right to my name.
No, but if you're committing offences and I don't know who you are,
Yeah.
then I can arrest you.
What
and then
offences have I
we'll
committed?
work out at the police station.
What offences have I committed? You're twisting the cuff.
I'm not twisting the cuff
You
at
are.
all. I'm just holding it.
What offences have I committed? None.
That's what I'm trying to establish
Well,
now.
establish that then before you put cuffs on me.
No.
Bloody hell.
I don't know who you are,
I don't know who
and
you
I can't
are.
have you running away.
I don't know who you are.
I'm a police officer. You can clearly see that.
I'm a member of the public. You can clearly see that.
I don't know who you are.
I don't know who you are.
If we suspect you committing an offence, we just need to find out who you
Yeah,
are.
but what offence do you suspect me of committing?
You can't be, it's a restricted area. You can't be flying a drone. Or, is it flying a drone?
Yeah.
You
Of course I can.
No, well, you see all this, like, so that sharp's from a fence, all
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah.
Some people can't get inside.
Yeah, but you don't own the airspace. Can a plane fly over the top?
That's a little bit different. Isn't it?
No, it's not. It's exactly the same.
It is a little bit.
No, it's
They have
exactly the same.
authorisation.
I had authorisation yesterday by the
From
Civil
who?
Aviation Authority to fly over Ellen Road, and that's exactly what I did.
The claim about a restricted area is where the entire argument begins to unravel. Airspace in the United Kingdom is not controlled by individual officers or police forces. It is regulated nationally by the Civil Aviation Authority. If operating a drone in that location were genuinely prohibited, the restriction would be formally designated, publicly documented, and enforceable under CAA regulations, not declared on the spot by an officer who simply feels uncomfortable with the situation. What this moment really highlights is a failure in training. Drone usage is now widespread, yet these officers appear to have little understanding of where their authority ends and the Civil Aviation Authority's begins. Rather than relying on a clear grasp of the legal framework, who regulates airspace, what qualifies as a legitimate restriction, and what powers the police actually possess. They fall back on confidence and assumption instead.
Alright,
So you don't need
so you had to have authority to do it?
over Ellen Road because of the stadium. You don't need the authorization here.
So you've not contacted anyone from West Yorkshire Police?
Today?
Yeah.
No.
It
You
would
don't need
just be an
to.
ideal situation if you were to do that one.
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe so. Yeah.
Who are
What's
you?
your YouTube?
What's your name?
PC Calvo 5822.
Awesome. I'll be putting a complaint about you.
What's your YouTube account?
I can't tell you that, mate. Not while he's here.
I've just told you who I am. I need to establish who you
Well,
are.
you won't be.
So cuffs have been applied to prevent your disappearance, which is...
Disappearance for what, though? But what do you suspect me of doing?
Potentially committing terrorism offences.
Okay. Well, if you suspect me of committing a terrorism offence, then you should arrest me, shouldn't you? Got HNK solicitors on speed dial, don't we know?
Have you got anything on you that may harm me or my colleagues?
No.
Okay.
And nothing that will let you know who I am either, so you'll be wasting your time.
So what you're telling me that if I were to let you go, you're just going to continue filming with the drone?
That was my plan, yeah?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I'll go sort my wrists out now at the doctors.
Other doctors.
Yeah, because you're still hurting them.
I'm just holding on to them. I don't want you to use them as a weapon.
I'm not going to use them as a weapon. I'm no threat to you.
News now remains cooperative and calm throughout the encounter. He is not acting erratically, he is not resisting, and he is already in handcuffs. At that point, any justification for the use of force should effectively come to an end, yet the officer continues grabbing and twisting the handcuffs. When someone is compliant and already restrained, force no longer serves a legitimate purpose except punishment, and policing is not about teaching lessons through pain. What makes the situation even more concerning is that News Now is already crouched in the back of the police van. There is no risk of escape, no threat being posed, and no justification for further hands-on escalation. Continuing to manipulate the cuffs in that moment is not about safety. It appears instead as compulsive behavior from an officer who cannot switch off once he has decided that someone must be dominated.
I don't know who you are.
Well,
so
I'm,
I can't check you
I'm
out.
trying to alleviate your concerns.
Know. Well, you've told me nothing that
Well, I've told you that I'm not a threat.
alleviates my threat.
I'm told you that I'm not a threat. I am
Nothing at
allowed to
all.
be here. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not committing any offences.
Well,
I'm trying to alleviate
At
your
the very least,
concern.
you're breaching the peace because
Breaching the peace.
there's members of the public that potentially could be in danger with what you're doing.
No one even knew I had a drone there
Doesn't matter.
until you tried to hit me with your van and then call me a clown.
If there's no aviation breaches, then we're going to go breach the peace because he's going to continue to do it and potentially put members of the public at harm.
I'm not. I've been trained to fly this drone safely.
You haven't told me who you are, so we can't check you out.
News Now is operating a DJI Mini, a sub-250-gram drone specifically designed to minimize risk. It is small, lightweight, and widely flown in public spaces under normal conditions. There is no crowd panic, no disorder, and no reaction from members of the public at all. The only concern being raised comes from the officer, who claims there is potential danger simply because it suits the moment. What truly exposes the weakness of the argument is the clear sense of desperation. The officer is not responding to an actual threat. He is searching for any label that might justify the actions he has already taken. Moving from allegations of terrorism to demands for identification to claims of restricted airspace, and finally to a supposed breach of the peace, demonstrates that this was neither intelligence-led nor proportionate. It was an officer determined to force the situation into a category that would support his decision.
Check, like, if you have a license to...
Yeah.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Okay, is your name on that license?
Potentially.
Potentially, right. You see where I'm going? We just need to kind of identify that you've got a license to be able to do so and so. It's like I'm driving a car. I've got a license to drive this car. Yeah, I've got it here. That's my name, right. So that's your name. I can confirm it by picturing your license.
But there's legislation
Exactly,
involved
details.
in driving cars.
Sorry?
There is in flying drones.
So what
as
is
well.
it? There's a legislation.
You tell me. You tell me you're a member of the aviation authority.
Did I? I never said that.
And that you've
I never
signed
said
up.
that. I never said that.
You seem to have more knowledge than me.
I do. That is correct.
You enlighten us then. You educate us.
I don't want to educate you. I charge for my services.
So have you got an operator ID number?
Yes.
And what is it?
Are we talking about terrorism or are we talking about drones?
We're talking about drones.
We're talking about drones. So why am I still in handcuffs? If you want to uncuff me and we want to have a conversation, There is, you know,
You're
you
still a threat to me because I don't know who you are.
I'm not a threat to you. I'm not a threat to anybody. It's ridiculous, mate. You come up to me, tried to hit me with your van, called me a clown, and then put cuffs on me. Said I was a terrorist. And now you want me to help you
I
out.
said you were a terrorist.
And educate you.
I said I've detained you
under terrorism legislation.
Believing you potentially you could be a or committing terrorism.
Right. Well, to use terrorism legislation, you have to reasonably suspect that the person you're dealing with is, in fact, a terrorist.
This moment is likely where Humberside police recognised they had a clear-cut case to answer, because the officer ultimately exposes the central contradiction himself. The conversation shifts away from terrorism altogether and lands squarely on the issue of drones, and news now immediately points it out. Are we talking about terrorism or drones? The officer responds, drones. That answer is significant because it removes the only justification he had been relying on to keep news now restrained. The situation deteriorates further when the officer insists that he never called news now a terrorist. That is not reassurance. It is effectively an admission. Detention under terrorism legislation requires reasonable suspicion directed at the individual, not a vague discomfort about equipment or location. By acknowledging that he never believed news now to be a terrorist, the officer inadvertently confirms that the legal threshold for such detention was never met in the first place.
So you reasonably suspect that I am in fact a terrorist? No. So then take the cuffs
I'm
off
shaking my
me.
head in bewilderment.
Well, why? Because you're bewildered that I know so much about the legislation?
No, you've read something and it's not true.
I've read lots of things on legislation.gov.uk.
Well done. Are you going to give us your name?
Do I have to give you my name?
Yeah, because now you're telling us that you've got something with the Civil Aviation Authority, an ID number, and we need to establish that.
Yeah.
So who are you?
Well, if you knew the legislation, you'd know where to find the ID number, wouldn't you?
The ID number, you need to tell me your ID number and your name, please.
Under what law? Under what law says that I have to do that?
Right, I'm just going to lock him up for breach of peace.
Okay.
Right, you're under arrest on suspicion of breach of peace.
No,
you don't have to say anything, but may I need defence? You do not mention one question, something which you later will on in court. Anything you say may be given evidence.
Okay. So we spoke to HNK solicitors, and they dealt with everything. They literally dealt with everything, guys, and I can't thank them enough for the effort that they put in. £3,500 in compensation, which is absolutely brilliant. And again, a big thank you to HNK solicitors for sorting that out.
That arrest was not about public order. It was about silencing someone who had just exposed how hollow the officer's decision-making had been from the very beginning. The aftermath makes that clear. News now passed the case to Humberside police, and suddenly all that confidence disappeared behind closed doors. There was no courtroom battle, no attempt to defend the officer's actions, just a £3,500 payout to make the issue go away. That figure speaks volumes about how confident the force was in defending the arrest. Not confident at all. Police forces do not hand over compensation when officers have acted lawfully. They do it when the footage, the contradictions, and the misuse of powers make the outcome impossible to defend. This officer should never have allowed a routine drone flight to escalate into physical force, handcuffs, and an arrest. Strip away the noise and what remains is a clear pattern of decision-making driven by irritation rather than risk. Each time News now calmly explained the law, the officer responded by escalating instead of reassessing the situation. That alone reveals the real issue. This was never about safety or compliance. It was about an officer who could not tolerate being corrected and repeatedly chose authority over accuracy. From claims about drones to restricted areas to allegations of a breach of the peace, the justifications kept changing because none of them were strong enough to stand on their own. Each new power was introduced only to prop up the previous bad decision, not to address any genuine threat. News now did not prevail by shouting or provoking the situation. He succeeded by remaining consistent while the officer's reasoning collapsed in real time. In the end, the £3,500 compensation does not come from the officer's pocket. It comes from taxpayers' money, funds that should be supporting real policing, proper training, and genuine public safety, rather than being spent correcting the consequences of one officer's failure to act lawfully and professionally. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue my independent coverage. Also, be sure to check out News Now Yorkshire. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some support. Thanks for watching.